Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial. So in this series, I am going to show you how templating systems work in general and what's the idea behind it and why we should use templating system in the first place and what's the pros and cons of it uh, in general. So before I jump right into the coding part, which I suppose everyone loves to do that. I'm going to show you a little uh, presentation in a sense. So, so my simple presentation. So let's say you have a website or you have an app or something that it splits up into multiple areas or multiple regions. It's better to refer to it. And in this templating system, you can call your template system whatever you want. You can have multiple of those, multiple template system, and in a sense, they act as a normal component, UI component basically. So there is nothing crazy about them. They're just there to help us organize our code better. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's say you have this app and website. For simplicity's sake, let's stick with these four regions: header, sidebar, main, footer. And let's say you wanted to use in the main region, the main area, you wanted to have your main contents display, and in the sidebar you may want to have some advertisements or some I don't know, quick links or whatever. And in the footer, you generally have your privacy policy, your footer links, any other affiliation program that's linked to any other websites that it generates you revenue. And in the header, you generally have your logo and a few links to other pages. That's as simple as it gets um, for building a very simple website or app. And so let's say if you wanted to do this without a template system, you have to so for this header, you basically create a component, call it header. You create a component, call it sidebar. You create a component, call it main, and so on and so forth. And the worst part of this is when you have to restyle everything over and over and over again for different pages, different views. And by different view, I mean different pages. Some people refer to them as pages, some people refer to them as views. So the idea is not stop doing that and stop having duplicates everywhere and sticking with dry code. Um, so that's the main purpose. The second purpose of having template system is to have all the UI mechanisms that's more or less the same uh, within the templating system and outside of the UI components, outside of the main UI components, not the template component. So that's the general idea. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to show you what I mean. So let's say you have this landing page or whatever your default template, and you wanted there's a new requirement, and that's okay. When the user scrolls by maybe this height, you want the header to be sticky, so becomes like this and the business decides, okay, so we have this header now, and we want to basically toggle between this state and this state. So how would you go about and do this if you were not to use a templating system? Well, basically you would go and have all of that code built into this header, or at least around it, where you can just invoke it inside of other pages or views. And that's really bad because first of all, your code is not centralized and your code is within another component, where this is not um, well, it's this header component. It's not really independent in a sense. It it has some stuff going out and some stuff going um, in terms of interactions, and it needs to watch out for let's say the window resize, window scroll events, and things like that, basically. And this makes it really difficult for the developer. It's the worst developer experience, and I've been there myself, and it's really not that good. Um, so the idea is to have this templating system where, for one template, you basically declare a few templates. Let's say one of them is default template, so this can be your default template. You can then create another template and call that maybe dashboard template, where you don't have sidebar, you only have main maybe, and you don't need a footer because it's not really the main website. It is where the user logs in, and you may have several other templates where you only need to call them for particular reasons. And the goal of this series is to accomplish that side of coding, which I have not seen any other YouTuber or you know um, any other programmer on YouTube um, touching those subjects, because it's not quite clear to what every developer thinks. So that's the main reason. This is the main subject of this tutorial, and I suppose you're gonna stick around. So I'm going to keep this tutorial very short, and I'm going to just only demonstrate what I mean by using this templating system. So we're going to jump right into VS Code, and I'm not going to like import uh, any of the libraries, the packages. I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean. So we're going to create a function. We call it, I don't know. I'm just going to demonstrate the usage of a template system and how it's going to benefit you um, um, by at least 50%, if not more. It's going to enhance your readability, your code readability, and it's going to enhance the developer experience by at least 50%, if not more. And I haven't seen anybody using this technique, at least from my perspective, at the companies I've worked for, and always introduced this system wherever I went, and everyone loved it. So let's do this. So we're going to create a very simple component. Let's say, I don't know, homepage, const homepage, and it's a functional component. And we are going to have a return. And within this return, it's just a normal div, nothing too crazy. And let's say you want to have you have a header component, you have a bunch of other components you want to use, and this is where you going to use this template, um, your template system. So let's say suppose we have a template called, I don't know, let's let's make some imaginary uh, template. So let's say maybe default template, and from we're gonna import that from templates. Let's assume. And so we have this default template, and we want to make use of it, and we want to make use of its region. Basically, that's the main reason behind it. So we have this, we say default template, and that's that's as far as it goes. Actually, I'm kidding. So default template, and we have regions. So we could only call or invoke the the regions that's already declared within this template, and I'll show you in the next episode of this series. But let's say we have in this template we only have four regions, and these are the only four regions. And if you if you're going to be using TypeScript, this is going to be really useful, um, because I'll show you later on what I mean. So let's say we have a header. We say default template dot header, and this is going to act as a region, and you can stick whatever you want here. You can say logo, perhaps actually logo. You can have a bunch of other ones like I don't know, maybe nav, maybe I don't know, basket, um, things like that. And you could have another one. Let's say default template. Oh, actually, sorry, default template main. And the beauty of this is that you could have the most dynamic content, the most dynamic part of your code at the top, so it's easier um, for like developer experience wise. So you can have this like actually sorry. So you can have this placed at the top, and the header actually in here. The order doesn't matter because the templating system itself takes care of that part. So what you need to only worry about um, is using the right regions, like for instance, main, header, footer. I'm not going to call it for other regions, just these two, just to demonstrate. And like in the main, you can have your maybe I don't know, main, website, articles, and you can have some props maybe. I don't know, some JSON data. So we say data, or maybe source is actually better. For the source, you're gonna have maybe an array of objects, things like that. The three ellipses doesn't demonstrate the the rest method. Actually, it's just to demonstrate there is some content. So we're gonna have a multiple, I don't know, objects that's going to feed the articles into this component. And this could be anything. Like it could be anything, and this could be anything. And the idea behind it is to basically determining what goes where, utilizing this templating system. And you can have several of these template system. Like default template could be maybe a template naming. Sorry, this name could be um, I don't know, um, something more readable maybe to the user. Like say a default template may not seem uh, quite intuitive to some developers. Well, what do you mean default template? You can name it like something like I don't know, uh, three three column template, something like that. You could name it whatever you want. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to stick with default template, and that's the idea behind it. You can still pass props, you can do whatever you want, but instead of having all of these uh, you know there like that, and having this here, and you have to worry about the ordering, and you need to pass classes to each one of these, and like so that they could be positioned properly, and all everything that goes around the styling of these, and you have to take care of this manually. Like there is no common way of handling these things, and it just makes it difficult because let's say you have this logo now, and there is a new requirement, there was a rebranding, and a new logo comes in, so you have to replace this with logo 2. And now the logo 2 dimensions are different to the previous one, so you have to mess around with the sizing. Maybe there is some inline styling, sorry, uh, excuse me, um, and now you have to like put all the inline styling here, and you have to like that's you have to couple everything with the component itself, with the UI component itself, rather than the skeleton of your page. So this acts as a skeleton. So it's like when you build a house, you build the skeleton first, and then you say where you want your things goes, your where you want to go, your I don't know, master bedroom go, your bathroom, your kitchen, like things like that basically. So this acts as a skeleton. You don't suddenly go into land. You don't buy land and you just make you just build a kitchen in the middle of it, and you have your toilet maybe I don't know, somewhere else. You have to have this, you have to have a skeleton first. You have to have a like a floor plan, and this is like a floor plan or the skeleton of your page or your views. So I hope this helps you understand what's the purpose behind this, and I hope you leave me a comment or like this video, and tell me what's your how have you been using like developing your views and pages without this system, like this template system, and whether this could be useful to you at least. I would love to hear from you guys, and leave me a comment below, and in the next episode I'm going to get on with the coding, and we could um, build on top of this boilerplate that I built in my last video. I'll leave a link in the description for this for the other video I made last time, and I hope you find it useful. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.